Hello again, I am Blunty. I've now spent a week with my new iPhone XS Max or iPhone XX Max or 10, just however you want to say it. XS, XS? Vote now in the chat. Who really cares? The big new iPhone. Which is a big upgrade for me, having not snatched up the first gen iPhone X or iPhone X because it was, for my tastes, carrying a few too many untested hardware features, and I kind of felt like waiting for the second generation refinements of said features. So I'd stuck with my iPhone 7 Plus for the last couple of years, the first time I haven't done a yearly upgrade of my iPhone. It felt weird. Now, of course, there's already a ton of reviews and comparisons and such around already, and I've no interest in piling on top of that. Suffice to say that my experience with the Max so far has been pleasant and remarkably so. In particular, I'm impressed with the completely flawless operation of the Face ID stuff, fast and perfect in any and all lighting conditions. It really is wonderful. But I do wish it worked in horizontal mode, so when I am shooting video, for example, I can unlock my phone already in horizontal mode and start shooting. Minor complaint. The notch hasn't bugged me at all, and I was absolutely sure it would. The screen is just spectacular. But of course, as a YouTuber guy, the cameras on my phone often come into play, very often come into play as a matter of fact, as a work tool. Either as my primary camera or as a B-roll camera supporting the stuff I shoot on my proper, real camera. So I did some side-by-side with the iPhone 7 Plus that I've been using for the last couple of years. And I'm not going to go into the technical differences in the sensors and the lens design and all that kind of stuff and the pixel pitch and blah 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 and the image processing change, because while all that is interesting from a geeky side of things, in the end all that actually matters is how the image looks and sort of feels from a viewer standpoint. Is it nice, crisp, clean, free of distractions and things like that? Is it easy to use? Does it deliver simple, good results without trying too hard? Because that's what we really need from our phones. I mean, you can sort of go full on with your phone and rig it up in a big rig and lights and microphones and things like that and pretend it's a real proper cinema camera and things like that. And some people do, and that's kind of fun in its own way. But really what you want to do is be able to whip it out of your pocket, shoot something, and for it to look good and be free of kind of aberrations and things like that that are otherwise distracting. And just so we cover it here, because I know someone's going to bring it up in the comments, one of the main reasons I prefer to use an iPhone over an Android is the end-to-end experience. It's fair to say that a couple of Android handsets offer cameras that are equal to, or even better than, the iPhone from a technical side of things, but I found the end-to-end shooting and editing experience in iPhone to be significantly better and more friction-free. So even if there is an Android phone whose camera is a bit sharper, or has a bit better color science, or has better lenses, or whatever, Android itself makes the job of using it feel more clumsy, slower, and has more workflow friction in it, and it's just not worth it as far as I'm concerned. Now, your mileage may vary. I'm not interested in having an argument about it in the comment section about whether or not you prefer Android and why and things like that. I don't care which Android handset you think is better than this particular iPhone. After a decade of idiot arguments, I've heard every single possible permutation of the fanboy argument cycle, and I'm bored of it. Just use what works best for you, and I'll do the same. All right? All right. Mostly I'm just waffling here so you can take in the side-by-sides without commentary. What I see is a very similar end result, frankly, and in many cases, without the side-by-side, I'd struggle to tell you which pic came from which camera, which is hardly surprising. The iPhone 7 Plus I'd already considered superb for a phone camera, and it's kind of hard to get much better than superb. The XS Max is just a little bit more superber. What the XS Max gets me, though, is a couple of niceties. Aside from being a bit sharper in certain circumstances, the dynamic range is noticeably better, of course. More detail in the shadows, less blown-out highlights, all that is lovely. That does, by nature, though, result in a very slightly flatter and less sort of contrasty and poppy image. But the thing is, I can always crush the image back down to be punchier and poppier if that's what I'm after, using a simple editing trick or two. But if the dynamic range isn't there to begin with, there's no recovering it, so it's better to have it, and maybe not need it, then need it and not have it, you know what I mean? So that makes it a clear win for the Max. I also get 4K 60 versus 4K 30, and yes, I know many Android phones already have that blah 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 for years and years. Anyway, it's just nice to have a crisper image and sort of cleaner looking motion. Also lets me throw a half-speed 30 frames per second B-roll shot down really nicely too at 4K. The digital zoom, although I'm of a very strong opinion that one should basically never, ever, ever use digital zoom because it always just degrades the quality just drastically, it's nonetheless significantly cleaner and more detailed. Nice to know if I'm ever out of options for just moving closer with my human feet, like a person who isn't a hopelessly lazy moron. Again, I doubt I will almost never need it, but it's good to know if I do ever throw myself upon the pyre of digital zoom, it does look better than it would have in the old phone. But the main advantage that I'll be thankful of is the low light performance. Very often when I'm reaching for my iPhone to shoot something, it's in mixed to poor lighting, sort of in a restaurant or wandering out at night or sort of in an adventure or something, whatever. And both in terms of sensitivity and colour, the Max is a large leap forward for me over the 7 Plus. Aside from the end result, shooting and editing process is nicer too, because of the wider, larger screen combined with the noticeably better OLED display, all make for a very nice step up for photo and even video editing. The extra screen real estate in particular is nice for video editing timelines. So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied as a content creator with the upgrade here, and as a regular user, I've nothing to complain about either. The things that I thought would annoy me to the point of aggravation, the lack of fingerprint reader, the notch, the no home button, things like that, none of it actually bugs me at all. And that's surprising, because I was absolutely sure it would. One of the reasons I didn't upgrade last year. But it just doesn't. Apple have done a really nice job of it. So there you go. Hope this has been interesting, useful, or informative. I'm Blunty, and I will catch you next time.